Okay then guys, what's going on? Cloud Plays here and welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're inside of Starfield where they seem to be getting into a bit of trouble. There seems to be a couple of issues that are going around and this one is not a really great one. On top of that, we've also got some more problems that are issuing inside of the game and some functionality changes that are definitely needed. So with that being said, if you haven't already, smash that beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe with post notifications turned on. On top of that, check out our sponsor Advanced GG, the #1 clinically proven energy supplement for gaming. My favorite flavor is cherry vanilla, but if you guys go down to the description, check out the link, you'll find an array of flavors with a shed ton to pick from. Make sure you use code CLOUD at checkout and we'll be able to go on with it. With that being said, let's dive on into some Starfield news. So Starfield's rating on Steam continues to drop. Starfield players gathered to discuss some major reasons why the game's mixed rating on Steam continues to plummet despite the initial strong launch. Now, due to recent reviews for Starfield on Steam, they are pretty damn mixed and its rating score continues to drop while community feedback focuses on improving the game through Bethesda content packs or modding. As it stands, after a Reddit post has actually been put up saying Starfield is now at a rated 64% on Steam. This is absolutely mental, with all reviews being at a mostly positive, whereas the recent reviews are coming up as mixed. Now, fans are divided on Starfield's scope and vision, with some praising its vast content whilst others feel it stretches the quality seen in previous Bethesda titles like Skyrim. Underdeveloped features like space exploration add to the perception of unmet expectations. While Starfield launched with a few bugs and has a strong foundation, it receives a lower score than Fallout 76, and players criticize repetitive procedural content and the lack of handcrafted experience. However, the game is expected to improve with the upcoming release of modding tools and DLC. Now, this is something that we are seeing quite a lot in the gaming community nowadays. Your main feature for this one will be Cyberpunk 2077, and I know a lot of you guys are going to be straight in that comment section saying that the game is absolutely amazing, but throughout its initial launch it definitely was a little bit problematic to say the least and didn't have the most amazing launch. Starfield, on the other hand, has had a much better launch and is genuinely not doing too badly. The problem that we have right now is that everything is on the internet. If we drag this back way back when I was younger, so I am 30 now, so we're going back a bloody while. Gaming for me was just me and my dad, or me and my brother, playing some games on the Xbox or on the PlayStation and just enjoying things for what they were. They weren't online, there was no systematic opinions that were shooting around absolutely everywhere, and social media wasn't really a thing back then. But what we do find is that nowadays, with social media being at an all-time rated high and people's opinions being a lot more confident over a keyboard, we seem to find that everybody's expectations for gaming nowadays is so much higher than the actual technology supporting it. What this actually means is that some games that are going up and are actually genuinely quite fun are being scrutinized and stapled down by the viewership themselves. Therefore, people will then jump on a bandwagon, and people who haven't even played the game will not be happy with it. It is a little bit frustrating. We've seen this a few times. The latest Saints Row title I actually really enjoyed, although the ratings online were not that great at all and everybody slated it regardless whether they played it or not. Starfield seems to definitely be the case as well. Although it does definitely have its issues and its lack of content to degrees, this game is doing really, really well on its own. As an overall though, this game will be a Cyberpunk 2077 if Bethesda actually decides that they want to input enough into it and rectify a lot of the problems that we see in-game. If we take this back to Cyberpunk 2077, the original launch for it was absolutely horrendous and everybody slated it down to the ground. Now if you ask people what they think about Cyberpunk 2077, they are all extremely happy with the latest Phantom Liberty title that came up as far as the DLC content. The game is in a really good position, and I really think that Starfield could follow up to be the same thing. This is definitely going to be one of those No Man's Sky moments, the Cyberpunk 2077 moments, and this is just going to be something that we need to expect to see in the future. But there is a bit of a problem with Starfield and with gaming as an overall, which is what we've just spoke about. Some guy has posted up an entire post. It is absolutely ginormous, so we're not going to read it out here. But I'll leave the link down in the description. But he essentially goes through to say that he thinks that Game Pass was a great neutral play for this, because it meant that people were able to download it, give it a try, and if it wasn't for them, they could just come off and they could jump straight back on if they ever wanted to, whereas it was a nice try before you buy in. If you wanted to upgrade, you also had that availability. And people seem to be just moaning for the sake of moaning, I think, and the expectations are so damn high that no game developer is ever really going to meet it. I think a lot of game developers do mess us around and they don't give us exactly what we have been told that we're getting, but this doesn't seem to actually be the case. But while we're talking about things that we were hoping to get but haven't, hopefully the game will inject a little bit more of this in the future. Not enough combat in Zero Gravity, considering how insanely fun it is. The post right here states that there is not enough combat in Zero G. I finished the main quest and started exploring some ship and stumbled onto a ship where the grav drive is enabling and disabling. It was the most fun I've had. Holy, every ship hijack needs to be in Zero G. Every time I get on a ship and it's not Zero G, I'm disappointed. I don't know if it's ever possible, but I am hoping to have fight in Zero G in space against spaceships with mechs in the game. And I mean, the ending for that is a little bit far-fetched, and we never know. They may input vehicles and mechs and stuff like that, as they are already in the game, they're just not actually usable. But the Zero G is something which is the case. There is a mission inside of the main storyline that takes you into a zero gravity area, and it is so much fun. It's incredible. I had so much fun inside of it, and I'd like to think that there should be a way for this to actually work. When we start going into space stations and stuff like that, there should be like a gravity switch or something like that we could hit, and then turns off the gravity motive, and we're on a zero gravity airship, which then obviously throws the enemies off, and you can then fight in zero gravity. And I think that those certain situations would just completely change the game, to say the least. Also, something that I do agree with, and apparently so do 6,000 other people, that Neon is underwhelming. For how it looks and the vibe it tries to give off, it is a relatively safe city. I was expecting a seedy city of vice and full of debauchery. I wanted to see a weird strip club of cyborgs and aliens, an underground boxing match to the death, random encounters of sketchy people in trench coats trying to sell me aurora and organs, even a mugging if you spend too much long of time in an alley, beggars that are willing to offer a body part for credits to buy aurora, or prostitutes that have special bionic parts, or witness some policy brutality or corruption. Everything just feels very vanilla. Does anyone else feel the same? Now, this I massively agree with, because I think that actually the Neon City itself is aesthetically so damn pleasing and gives off massive cyberpunk vibes. I will not lie, it does give off the big neon looking signs and the crazy areas, and everything looks incredible, although NPCs in this game are pretty flat and quite stagnant. Therefore, it leads to question as to whether this place is actually as fun as it should be. It's one of those. No, I think that Neon should be that corrupt city of absolute chaos and carnage, and have the NPCs actually interact with its scenario and its surrounding. But that is something that we've found a trouble with the entire game as an overall, and this is something that I really hope that they do work on. We know full well that this could be something that they could work on, and this could be something that could save the game to a degree. At the moment, I think it's being scrutinized for stupid reasons, and things like this that actually need altering do need some public criticism, some constructive movements, and some advice towards the developers of what it is we're expecting, instead of just jumping online and hammering up a hate post for no bloody reason at all of things that are completely irrelevant and just generally the way that the game is formatted. The NPCs need to be more interactive. There needs to be a little bit more life inside of these cities, and especially with Neon, I feel like there needs to be so much more life inside of it, because it's just one of those places that has so much character and so much potential. I feel like that's something that this game really spits out a lot. So much character and so much potential, because right now it hasn't quite hit the mark for me. I do enjoy the game greatly, and it's definitely not dead, but people are definitely trying to kill it. It's one of those. So hopefully we can dive on into Starfield in years to come and have the Cyberpunk 2077 experience. I don't think that the gaming should be that way, but it's likely to be the case that you'll enjoy Starfield more in 2 years' time than you are right now. If you haven't already, smash that beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe with post notifications turned on. Thanks again for watching, guys. Appreciate your faces, and as always, I'll see you in the clouds.
Starfield.